Hey everybody! Gonna give y'all a minute to tune in. This is my girl, Veronica Smith. Let me get my lighting all set up. I gotta get me some of that good lighting.
You are something.
What?
You are something.
I am. How you doing this morning?
I'm good.
Hi.
Got my orange juice. I've got some overcast on my side of town today, unfortunately, but the sun is shining, sure, somewhere.
I'm sure it's shining somewhere. Let's give them a few more minutes. So this is Arden's Chats, and I am a PR person by day, by night, by sometimes mid-afternoon as well. And one of the things that struck me when COVID started, the COVID-19 madness started, was I wanted to be able to help. But I'm not a trillionaire. I'm not even a millionaire. And I cannot shop local. You, my friend, are a millionaire. You're my dream. But I can't shop local all over the place. I cannot buy up my friends' businesses to keep them supported. But what I can do is offer my network really, really good information. So that's why I started Arden's Chats. And you are on the top of my list because you know how to make money, but you know how to make it right. You know how to shift mindset. You know how to give back. You are the ideal. If most of us, especially as women, are looking to make lots of money, we can't just want to make it for making its sake. Women are not driven that way. So I wanted to talk to you today first to let my people know about what we're trying to do with our nurses, and then to get into your more business success coaching side of things. So if you want to go live, I'm live here just seeing if people want to pop in and do questions, but this is being recorded. They'll be able to see it later. And tell me first things first, what are we doing for our nurses right now as my the MP?
Not enough.
Right.
So right now, of course, everybody is aware of what we're dealing with COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
And we're right now on a stay-at-home order, hopefully around the country at this point. But we're on that stay-at-home order to help flatten the curve of this whole thing. And basically what that means is if we can social distance ourselves, if we cannot be out and about and move as freely as we once did prior to the quote unquote outbreak, then not as many people will become infected and overwhelm our healthcare system, which is ultimately the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, excuse me, my colleagues, they're nurses, healthcare professionals, doctors, respiratory therapists, anyone who has direct contact with patients is in desperate need right now of what we call PPE. PPE is personal protective equipment. And what happens is, as a healthcare professional, when you are ill-equipped to do your job, you put yourself at risk, and not only yourself, but your family members, those people that may be more vulnerable, children, people with suppressed immune systems, the elderly. And so what we're doing right now is trying to desperately seek sources that will be able to close the gap between the need for the personal protective equipment and the healthcare providers that actually use them. So we started with my Nursing Innovation and Scientist group, SONCIEL. You guys may have seen them on the media, social media, maybe even on prime time at this point, requesting donations for PPE. Not only for your local facility, but just hospitals around the country. A lot of what we call tier 1 or level 1 trauma centers, those huge metropolitan areas right now get a lot of funding for times such as this. They get a lot of help, but we tend to forget about the community hospitals in rural America that also are experiencing COVID-19 patients that are being positive And so you're seeing on the news where you have healthcare professionals that have tested positive themselves, either still having to work and take care of other positive patients, or you have nursing professionals at this point that just don't have enough equipment. And so they're going into the battlefield literally unarmed. And so we are asking for help. We're asking for donations. We're asking for manufacturers that can help make N95 masks, or even the KN95 mask at this point, which is a filtered mask. So that's kind of where we are right now in the nursing industry, with really trying to pull all resources together to help get those particular pieces of equipment that'll help us take care of you.
Okay. One thing I keep seeing popping up are people are making masks. Is that something they should be doing, or is it better to just give money?
It's better than nothing.
Okay.
We will say that. The latest CDC directive was that you can use a bandana. We all know that that's really not giving you any protection.
No.
But it's because if it's transmissible via droplet, that means there are particles in the air that kind of sit. So a bandana, a homemade mask, if you can't get your hands on anything else, then, the CDC is saying, hey, use that. But it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand that desperate times call for desperate measures, and that's exactly what that is.
Okay. So those are just some things I wanted to clear up, because I see great people out there doing great things, and I always wonder, okay, are you spending money on this? But are there masks available to purchase? I mean,
there are. So we have found some suppliers that are willing to, well, first of all, I don't think most people even understood that most of the filtered masks were made in China anyway. So we all know what's going on. So we can't, get the normal supply that we normally would. And so we're calling on, of course, manufacturers here within the U.S. that could actually manufacture those types of masks. So we have a supplier that is willing to put all, hands on deck to make these masks that we need. And it's not like you need one or two. Like, there are 331 million people in America. So we're talking about massive supplies at this point that are needed to be able to help, not only support and protect your healthcare providers, but also just the layperson. I see people in the grocery store trying their best to, cover themselves as best they can with a mask of whatever kind. And ultimately, it's better than nothing, but it's not the best option.
Got it. Okay, so since we are being ordered to stay at home, and one of the things I keep talking about is I am a single person. I live with 2 crazy cats. I would show you them now. They're nonsense, right? But I have been really struggling with this because it's just me. Can I go 30 days by myself? I'm a super social creature. I get energy from other people. This screen thing is starting to drive me crazy. I've ordered like 49 new pairs of Blu-ray glasses. I've already broken a pair. Girl, those tortoise shells are broken. I'm so sad. But can I do it, right? So what I'm trying to do is figure out, but I also want to honor it. Like, this is what we were talking about yesterday. Like, it's really easy for people who are not at home by themselves or who are not social creatures to say, stay the F home, blah, 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 blah. It's a totally different thing to sit in my shoes and go, I am really trying to see. I am doing all I can. I am walking gazillion miles, but creatures to say, stay. Right. I want to see my family. I want to see whatever. So what I'm trying to do is shift my mindset. You and I talk about mindset a lot. Shift my mindset and get busy doing something. You are also a wonderful, wonderful person to teach us how to do things. What's some things, as my business coach, V is my business coach. I am a PR person. We try to make each other famous. Dr. Oz, I'm sure you're watching, from Mooresville right now. If not, Arden's Chats is just going to take over. It's going to be I'm going to be the next Oprah. Y'all better watch out. Nikisha gonna be doing my makeup. You know, I got like we going. But I want to know what people can be doing now. I'm super creative. What are ideas that you think people can be doing right now to stay the F home, but also keep their minds busy? We got to replace it, right? Like our friend Latanya talks about, you got to replace one thing with another. What are some things people can replace this anxiety with?
So I posted yesterday actually on my personal Facebook page a question because I was having a difficult time understanding myself. Why there is so much movement when we are at a stay-at-home order per se. And I know it varies across the country as when it was initiated and that kind of thing. But ultimately, I think that every citizen has a responsibility to do what they can. And what they can do is not be out in what we call GP, right? General population. Because you may absolutely be positive and not know it. You may be positive and be asymptomatic. It's not like people are walking around with signs that said, hey, I'm positive for coronavirus. I just don't know it yet. So I think ultimately everyone has a responsibility to follow the instructions of our officials, whether you agree with them or not. You know, we all have our personal opinions about things. I just think that ultimately the responsibility of what I can control is what I can control, which is me. I can control, you know, whether I go to a gym that decides to be open anyway. I can control whether or not, yeah, I know, right? Whether or not I, you know, not only go to the grocery store, but like hang out in the parking lot in droves of people just to talk. Like stuff like that we can control. And so I can control me and where I go. And so what that also means is that when I'm bored at home, I can decide where I am going to put my time. Whether I decide to read a book for self-development, whether I decide to do an online webinar or module to make my career better. There are so many things right now that you can do online, complete online webinars that you can do. Yeah. As healthcare professionals, this is time for us to get caught up on our continuing education units, our CEUs or our CMEs. Those are times we can do that. So, you know, spending time with your family, working on your business plan. That's what I tell a lot of my clients. Right now is a perfect time to work on your business plan, because once this is all over, and I use that loosely, I promise, because it's not going to end when you can go back outside. Like, I need people to understand this thing is happening. It will happen, and then once your, you know, stay-at-home order is lifted wherever you are, where you may have affected, or when you have new gatherings, there may be some sort of mutation of the virus. You just never know. So I want people to understand that it's not just over on April 30th or whatever the day is that the stay-at-home order is lifted across the country. Right. And so you have to be able to pivot your business when it comes to that. For those that have salons that are closed, you know, you have to be able to be creative about how you're still going to have, you know, your business on automation. What can you sell, right? Especially if you're service-based, what can you sell that will keep revenue streams coming in? That's where I teach people all the time. You got to have a digital product.
Yeah.
You know, I can't stress it enough. You have to have something that is going to be able to help you make money while you're sleeping.
Right.
If you don't, you're going to continue to work until you die. Warren Buffett said that. So I need people to understand you have to be creative. This is a time to do that. Even if you have to, you know, just make a list. Make a list of things that you're passionate about. Make a list of things that you've always kind of wanted to do. This is a time to do research on and development on those things. You know, Google is your friend at this point. Get online. Time that you wouldn't have normally had to spend on business development, this is a time to do that. Time that you wouldn't have had to be able to research stocks, this is the time to do that. This is the time to look at look at capital gains and look at
Mhm.
real estate across the country that you can invest in from your home.
Yeah.
These are things that people don't really talk about, especially for those that are in service-based businesses. I'm a healthcare provider. That's a service-based business. If my clinic closes today, how will I be able to see my patients? Telemedicine right now is hot and heavy for healthcare providers. I still see my patients via telemed. They still have their appointments.
Yeah.
We still, are having a revenue stream come in. So people need to understand that it's not just about, you know, but people need to understand, it's just not about, oh my God, this health thing, this, virus is going on right now and my life is over. No, this is the time, do a vision. This is a time where you can be creative and dream and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
this is that time. Some of us, are out of work, unfortunately. Others are working from home, and you have your wonderful children there to keep you busy, or your animals. So I just think this is the time to kind of get back to what our foundational things are. And as a business coach, business owner, it took me a minute, honestly. It took me a minute to just say, okay, so this is what it is. This is our new normal for right now, and how can I pivot my business? Even me, I'm looking at ways that you can pivot it so that it's still it's still beneficial to your client base that you serve. It's still financially on a positive, and you're not losing money every month. So you have to be, I think, aware of all of your options, but be willing to do this point. This is the time to do the work. Those people that grind right now are going to see massive returns in May and June. Hope that
Who told
helps.
you that?
I don't know. I think I had a conversation with someone named Arden one day,
Yeah,
and we were
just
talking about
kidding.
that, but it's totally true though.
Yeah.
But it's absolutely the truth. So people need to understand this is not time to just kind of lay around the house and eat bomb
No. Okay, so what's one?
all day.
Yeah.
This is a
Yeah.
time where we can take something that's going to be positive.
Yeah. So what's one
So
thing you are offering people now that they can do with you? Because y'all, she is the story. I've heard it a lot of times, and every time I hear it, I'm just like, she's the flippin' real deal. Like, everything about you is the real deal. Your passion for your nurses and the other people you coach. Every time I get to speak with you or hear you speak, I'm like, how is this woman just gifting your knowledge all the time and not just making money off of it? But a lot of it is just gifting your knowledge, and then it just comes to you. So what's one thing I want to offer something to the people watching? What's one thing you're gifting people right now or telling people to do right now? Who are your business coaches, and everyone should come work with you as a business coach? Why should they?
If you are a person that you've always kind of been your own boss, even though you actually work for people, that's a special trait. So you have to be someone is easily self-directed. I'm not the greatest at time management. I procrastinate. Procrastination on someone else's job used to get me in trouble. So I had to understand me first. And so understanding how I work is the first thing. So I think people need to understand how they work. What I can offer people is coaching. You figure out, one, what your purpose is. A lot of people are kind of all over the place. And even though they like certain things, that doesn't mean that that's the thing they should be doing. Because you can like something and not make any money, and it's a hobby. So a lot of people think they're entrepreneurs, and they're not. If you are doing something that's supposed to make you money, that's a hobby. It's an expensive hobby. So understanding the difference between being a true entrepreneur, having a passion project,
Oh, that's good.
A hobby. Those things are different. So I really walk people through what that looks like for them,
Okay.
you know, because it's different for everybody. So there isn't one business model that is a one size fits all. That's not the way to do it. And I've seen a lot of coaches teach that way. And so they may have one or two success stories, and then you have all these other people that think, oh my God, it was a scam, it didn't work. It's not that it was a scam, it's just that it wasn't your thing. You have to figure out what your thing is. Whatever the problem is that you're solving, it needs to be your thing. People will pay you to solve a problem for them. So you've got to figure that out. So I help you. I actually guide you through that.
Say that again. People will pay you to solve a problem.
Yeah. People will pay you to solve a problem.
Yep.
I was about to say, what did I say? But yeah, people will pay you to solve a problem. So for me, even with my IV hydration classes that I teach, that started out as a side hustle, because people would ask me all the time how you got started or what did I have to do. And I was just giving this information away until one day I'm having a conversation with my wonderful business attorney, and I'm like, voila, let me start charging people for this. Ding, 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 ding. Within the first 6 months, I'd made 6 figures off of a side hustle.
Yeah.
So, and it just grew from there. So much so that I had to stop calling it a side hustle.
It's not.
When the IRS wants their money, it's no longer a side hustle.
It's not. But let's be honest. The IRS always wants their money. They're calling me every day. What do you want back? Like, they really are not calling me every day. It feels like
yeah.
it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I get nervous every time I hear.
But it's funny. So just being able to coach people through that, being able to help you devise whatever your business plan is, that it makes sense for you. It may be completely different, you know, for other people that are maybe even in the same industry as you, but you have to understand your business plan is customized for you. So we go through that development. We talk about mindset, because that's where it all starts. You can't make $1 million on a minimum wage mentality.
Ooh, girl, I'm gonna write that down too. What is a minimum wage mentality?
A minimum wage mentality, I'm glad you asked. A minimum wage mentality is the attitude that I'm here to do a job. I'm going to give you the minimum. It's over. I'm done. I'm walking out the door. You can't have that attitude and think you're going to make 7 figures. That's not how it works. The other thing too is you cannot be a solo entrepreneur and think you're going to make $1 million. It's about relationships and it's about team. I don't know any millionaires that made $1 million by themselves. Everyone had a team. That team could be a team of 2. It could be a team of 20. It doesn't matter, but you have to understand what relationship building will do for your business. You cannot be in isolation. It's hard right now because we're on the stay-at-home order. However, there are video chat, you know, Zoom, you can do webinars. So there are ways that you can still interact with people and tell people what it is you do in the right setting. So I don't network with no purpose.
Right.
I need to say that because some people go to every networking event in America, waste of time. You need to make sure that you're networking with a purpose. Are the people that are going to be there people that could benefit from the service or from your product? If those two are not a yes, why are you going?
Right.
You know, you need to understand that people you work with or people that you're networking with may not necessarily be your friends. This isn't about building friendships. It's about building relationships. Relationships could be business relationships. They could be collaborations. They could be partnerships. So we have to understand the difference in that.
Yeah.
So again, you know, those are the things that I offer with the business coaching. Let's do some business planning. Let's do some research and development on what it is you're interested in. Let's figure out how to build your network.
Okay.
What types of ideas you need to join. What types of boards of directors you need to possibly sit on. You know, those types of things.
Yeah.
What types of, you know, once we kind of get back to some normals, what types of conferences do you need to attend when it comes to networking and those types of things? So yeah, you know, and how do you pull together a team? You need a good CPA, you need a good attorney, you need a good PR person, stuff like that.
So, but the thing is, I want to say, conferences are happening right now. I'm working on one. You don't know this, but you and I are getting ready to work on one with Sean. We're doing our crisis class. It's coming to you tomorrow or the next day. They're happening now. Maybe they're not conferences in the typical way, but big ones are. My friend Jenny Melrose is doing one. Client and friend Jenny Melrose is doing one this week about how to build marketing, influencer marketing. She's doing it for $197. She's creating Zoom rooms, all the things. So conferences are happening now for people as well. So what I want people to get in touch with you, because I got a lot of people asking questions. They're talking about losing revenue, losing, they're going to be out of job. One's a nanny. She's going to be out of a job for a while. My hair person, get ready to look for roots, is going to be out for a while. Like a lot of our service-based industries.
Can I speak to the nanny? Can I speak to the nanny one?
Yeah, speak to the nanny right now. Yeah.
Okay. So for the nanny, that's a service-based business. So because we're on the stay-at-home order, she can physically go to someone's house and watch their children. However long she's been a nanny, she has some expertise in that, right? What she could do is actually write an ebook on how to get started as a nanny. She could give to those the nanny population or the nanny world, she could actually write a how-to book. How do I find clients? How do I set up my nanny business? How do I network as a nanny? So those are things that she could use to develop digital products. Ebooks take literally 30 minutes. You can write an ebook in 30 minutes, just on the stuff that you already know. She could also do webinars for people moving outside of COVID-19. What are some of the questions that clients need to ask of nannies that are going to be looking for jobs as people go back to work, right? What are some of the questions that she could coach other people on interviewing? These are questions that you need to make sure that you understand. If I'm going back into a home as a nanny, as an independent contractor, what does my health insurance look like? Is the family willing to pay for certain testing to guarantee that as the nanny's safe? So you have to look at all of these things. So as she starts to look at how she introduces herself into the workforce, once this is kind of over, things that she could then offer to whoever she's interviewing with. Hey, listen, while we were out on our stay-at-home order, these are materials that I developed. This may help you, she could do that. So she could be a consult. Like, it's so many things that she could do even as a nanny. I'm not well versed in nanny-dom. Is that a word? I don't know if that's a word. I just made it up. We're going to Google that though.
I don't know.
However, so for some of these agencies that are, call them staffing, but I guess placement agencies, she could then also want to contract herself out to some of these agencies, because I'm sure they have probably not introduced any sort of COVID-19 training for the nannies that they staff.
Right.
So these are things also that she probably could do.
Yeah.
I actually just hopped on your live. So I'm looking at, it says, is this Sarah? Sarah? Was that
and I think that's where one of the things that one of the things you've changed in my outlook and the way I look at things is, this is your third party endorsement, is creating more products, right? Like, we all have products to
I have bad connection.
Okay, sorry. You're frozen on me too. Everyone's on Zoom this morning. Can you see?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So, question. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can.
What are these things?
What?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
So now we understand that everybody's using the Zoom platform.
Yes.
How much do you want to bet that during this next phase of a recession, if you want to call it that we have, there are going to be multiple other platforms now that are going to be created, because we see the problems of Zoom when everybody's trying to use it at the same time.
Yeah.
So Zoom now is a company that if you can buy stock in, you need to. Seriously.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like, I've looked, before I got Zoom, I'm on the professional level of Zoom. Before, when I started working with you, I got it. And it was great, but this was one of the best platforms. And now everybody's on it. They're giving it away for free and but still charging me. So that's kind of one of the things, like, who wants to create a better platform? Because first off, they're not taking care of me as a customer because I'm still paying. And second, I can't even do my work anymore. That's annoying. And all my friends are like, I have stock in Zoom. I'm like, well, it's going to get high now. Y'all better sell high because somebody's going to come out with something better.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
So I just, when you look at I've had a chance to kind of get online and Google. I'm a nerd, kind of. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So I looked at the businesses that were created between 2008 and 2010, which was the last recession.
Yeah.
Like Uber, like what?
Yeah.
I had no idea of
Instagram.
the number of, the companies that have been developed and took off.
Yeah.
That 2-year span. So I'm excited to see, honestly, what the economy does. People have their opinions about stimulus package and all that stuff. I really get into politics like that.
Yeah.
Just the other side of it, what creative things come out of recession, because their lives so much better. So
it is. All right, sis. Thanks for your time. How do they find you?
Where are we?
Wait, you're frozen. I'm writing it in.
I thought we had a question one more time. Follow me on Instagram. So the NP, actually, on Instagram and on Facebook and on Twitter, actually, even though I don't use it a lot.
I said, you tweet.
I didn't hear you. What?
Tweet.
Not really. But again, I really don't like Thea like that. So this is new for me, even as a veteran, entrepreneur, doing this thing for 20 years. I didn't carve my teeth on social media. I carved my teeth on grassroots marketing, door to door, developing relationships with people. So social media is, it is best used for what it's supposed to be used for, and that's socially networking. So you don't really kind of go to social media to find a doctor. You know what I mean? That's really not how that works. So, right, we'll see. But I enjoy helping people really figure out what that thing is that's going to make them not necessarily wealthy, but financially independent. There's a difference. There's a difference. So
it really is.
Yeah, absolutely. If everybody thinks that they're going to be a millionaire, that's not true. Everybody can't be. And so you have to understand that some people are okay with making $200,000 a year. Some people are okay with making $50,000 a year. It just kind of depends on what their personal goal is. Everybody doesn't want to be a millionaire. So, with more money comes more problems, as they used to say back in the early 90s.
Who said that? Was he Diddy then? Was he Puffy? Was it Biggie? I don't know.
Biggie. It was Biggie. It was Biggie.
But Diddy was in there in the middle of it. Like.
Yes, absolutely. So, again, if people want to send me an email or they want to, slide into a DM, that's fine. You can ask a question. We can set up a discovery call. We can move forward with the coaching. I do coaching in 6-week increments. I never want to coach anybody for longer than what they need. So I allow people to do 6-week increments, and then we can, make sure we have some goals, make sure they're measurable, make sure you're achieving them in short little stints. Those of us who have a little bit of ADD, like myself, long-term projects, long-term commitments scare me. So I have to break it into smaller, more manageable products, and then I'll see, that I'm actually making progress, and it'll keep me motivated. So a lot of people, they don't know that they're like that. So yeah. But who said that? Somebody said, "Hey, Veronica."
Yeah.
Hey.
Highlight.
Oh, that's hi. That's Dr. Jackson on there. Hi.
Hi.
Oh yeah. So let's see this create. Okay, so I'm just kind of reading the book. So I hope we were able to answer Sarah's question to her liking and give her some ideas about some things that she could actually try. But business is funny. People think because I'm a healthcare professional that I only coach healthcare people. That's not true.
No.
That's not true. Business is business. It's about the process.
That's exactly
so. Whether you are a used car salesman, you know, a doctor of anesthesia, you know, whatever, it doesn't really matter. It's, you know, we weren't, and I tell healthcare professionals this all the time. You didn't learn how to own and operate a business in medical school or nursing school or any other healthcare program ever. Like, they don't teach us that. They teach you how to save people from dying.
Yeah.
Short of that, they figure out you'll figure everything else out. And so understanding that everyone needs someone to coach them that's been there, that's done that. That's what I pride myself on. So I can't take you somewhere that I've never been.
Right.
You know?
Highs and low lows, like just like anyone else who's been in business for a long time.
Absolutely.
I think that's one thing people really need to remember. We are feeling things that we haven't normally felt. And putting lots of conspiracy theories out there is not helpful. Pastor Furtick was talking about that yesterday. He was like, stop looking at conspiracy theories. Stop looking at all this stuff. Like, stop thinking doomsday and start thinking, what can I do, right? Like, and I think that's what you teach people to do is what can I do right now? And what is a manageable, and because you do, just like me, kind of have some ADD, you can teach how to do manageable chunks. Like whenever I do my strategy sessions, especially with your nurses, they get really excited. Then they're like, oh my gosh, I literally have 14 days this month to build this business, right? Like, because most of them are 7 on, 7 off. What we'll go through is, here's what you do this month. They commit to me, can you do this month? I can do that. So you help people break that down too. Like, I can do this. Absolutely. And that's what people get nervous about working with a business coach is, you're going to give me this whole business plan to do, and I'm not going to be able to do it all, and I'm going to fail. You work with them one-on-one to say, what's the right thing? What's going to work with you? Do you need 15 minutes of my time right now? And 15 minutes later, what does it look like? And so that's what I love, and would love for these people. A lot will be watching later. I'll pop it on YouTube. We'll get some questions there. Just for people to know, it's not impossible to build a business. You don't have to have been to business school. You do have to surround yourself with the right people, and you are absolutely one of the best.
Oh, thank you. But I need to understand this is really important. I think the takeaway needs to be that it's not going to happen overnight. People tend to allow other people to put undue pressure on them, especially if they've been really excited about an idea. They may have told a few people, you know, they may have joined some groups. They may have, you know, be looking at things on social media where it looks like, you know, certain people that are doing businesses are having quote unquote overnight success. What you need to understand is that your pace is your pace. So don't put undue pressure on yourself to have this thing kind of blow up and succeed overnight. That's not realistic. You have to pay your dues, and I tell people that all the time. Now, the time frame may be different for everyone, but don't expect for you to go in business on a Monday and you made your first $1 million by Wednesday. It does not happen like that. It doesn't. You know, a lot of people see now the V to NP persona on social media, but they were nowhere to be found when I was losing my first business and had to go to bankruptcy court. They didn't they weren't there for that part.
Yeah.
So you have to understand that it's a process. And so I teach people the process, and don't be afraid to fail. Failure is a part of your success. Absolutely. Absolutely. It has to be. If you've never failed, it will crush you. Like you've got to be able to have thick skin. Not everybody's going to be a yes. Not everything is going to be a wonderful project and have a wonderful outcome. And that's not when you grow. You grow during the time when you're being, God, I won't do that ever again. You need the failures in order, one, to grow, but two, to appreciate all the growth that you have experienced in business. So that's just the anxiety that people have about succeeding.
Love it. All right. Thank you so much. This is so good. I can't wait for people to go back. Whoever's just joining now, like, you guys go back and watch. So full of information. Support our nurses. At the beginning of this, people who are just tuning in now, V gave us some ways to support nurses. And yeah, I'm really grateful for you. You're frozen. Frozen.
By any chance? Can you hear me? Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Can you drop the link for the for Santiel possibly in here so people can click the link if they look at the first part of this and actually see how they can donate personal protective equipment for our healthcare professionals that are on the front line helping in this pandemic that we have right now.
Okay. Is it the website? Here we go. Yep. And yeah, as we said at the beginning, is that the right link?
Yes.
Okay.
It can go there. Mm-hmm.
I love the heart of everyone making things. But we also have access now to masks. We've got the mask. If you could donate to help make that happen, that would be wonderful. We'd really appreciate that. Just because it's scary. I know I am no seamstress, so I shouldn't be making anything, but like, if I could provide money for the right products to be bought, that would be amazing. So that's what we'd love for people to do.
Absolutely. So we appreciate anything that anyone can do. And again, the nurses that are on the front line taking care of our families, our friends, our coworkers, it's necessary. I'm trying not to get emotional because it's a situation. And I don't think people really understand, the severity of what's happening right now. And so it's, we just need to be all educated.
Yeah.
And do our part. So yeah.
Yeah. And stay home as hard as it is. And I think I put on my Facebook yesterday, I get that it's hard. Shaming people into staying home is not helping the situation. But be responsible. Like I know somebody put up, this is like our war, but it kind of is starting to feel like that. We're not at war, right? But like, it's starting to feel like, okay, what can I do to do my part? And doing your part right now is staying away, going on your walks outside. I'm still seeing people at the park playing basketball and volleyball and all these things. And I'm like, y'all, it's people are like Joe Diffie, a country music star I loved growing up. People are actually dying. Like, this is nothing to play around with. Just however you feel about the government or whatever, think about the people who are on the front lines, who are having to go into work every day. I don't think this is a government conspiracy. That's why I was like, I got to get V on here so people know V is in the middle of it all the time. And
listen, whether it is or not is not for me to decide.
No, that's a great point. Yeah.
And this is what I tell, I don't have an opinion. I've gotten this question probably 5,000 times in the past week. I don't really have an opinion about that because I understand that people are dying. Like,
right.
At the end of the day, like, you don't come back from that. And so for those people that are have whatever opinion about the government, that's fine, but at least do your part so that you can say, hey, listen, whatever the outcome is, I know that when I was told to stay at home, I did my part. That's all you can control, And so for me to have colleagues that, take pictures and post them on social media or send me a text and in their, crying because they are literally putting their life on the line. Like, it's hard. It's difficult. And then you go to the grocery store and people are just kind of oblivious to what's happening literally at the closest hospital in their city. So it's a scary time, but it's a time where we can be faithful. It's a time where we can absolutely advocate for our friends and our family and ourselves. So it's, I just think again, just do your part. That's all we ask, is just do your part, for whatever that means to you, then do that.
Yeah.
Then do that. So I've always said I'm not passing judgment on anyone. All I know is I would hate to be the cause of someone becoming ill because I decided I didn't want to sit down.
I know. I think that's where I keep going back to too, is I don't want to be the person. I don't. We've all been exposed to it at this point in some way, shape, or form. Your body's probably fighting it off. But I don't want to be the person. If I just consider myself a carrier at this point, I think we all have to. And if you consider yourself a carrier, that keeps me home. And it also keeps me focusing on, again, replacing it with, for people joining us later, we talked about, so go back and watch, what do I replace it with? Because if I have to stay home, I have to replace it with something. I can replace it by binging Scandal on Netflix, or I can replace it by building a webinar.
For your business that's going to pay you time and time and time and time and time again.
Right.
Right.
Lydia Pope pays me nothing. She doesn't.
Absolutely.
Jake Ballard kills people. So, all right, we're going to go on. This is where I start spiraling. We've reached the end because, I'll start going on my tangent and people will be like, what is this? This is important. All right, girl.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I absolutely adore you. I love what you're doing.
Thanks.
I think that you absolutely are much needed in the marketplace right now. So thank you again. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. So we're going to get I'll be in touch later about what Sean and I have cooked up for you.
Oh, okay.
So here's B's thing, and I'll edit all this. B says, get you a team. So she gets her a team and we just keep creating more stuff for her.
I love it though. I love it. So I really like helping people. You have to, but you have to have a you can't not like people and be an entrepreneur. Like that. It's an oxymoron. Like if you don't like people, it's not going to work.
Right.
So a lot of times I do things and, I don't charge people or, I'm always trying to help people or give them information to help get them to the next level or whatever it is they're doing. Mm-hmm. Because I say it all the time. I don't look for those opportunities. They come to me. Yeah. And that's just how it's been. But it's because I give away a lot. Yeah. I give away a lot. And so when you plant seeds like that, you can't help but have good things happen. So
you're right.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's Arden's chats.
Yes, Arden's chats. Arden's chats. So thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Hey, I'm glad you're here. Bye guys. Wave bye, B.